and welcome back to She Walks, She Paints. Thank you so much for joining me again. If you are new here, my name is Sarah and I will be taking you on a walk today somewhere in the beautiful country of Scotland. We'll be looking around for stuff to photograph and I will go home to my studio to try and paint something that I found in watercolour. You'll get to see the full painting process later on in this video. Today we've come to the beautiful village of Kenmore, which is in Perth and Kinross. Perthshire is really renowned for being amazing in autumn. It's got beautiful woodlands. It's known as Big Tree Country because there's just so many amazing trees here that have been grown on the old estates. It's a little bit misty and rainy today, but I actually really like that because it's super dramatic and atmospheric. It just looks right for Scotland when you have a bit of mist and rain. We're going to take a walk through the village of Kenmore, which is on the shores of Loch Tay, and we're going to also walk up the River Tay, which goes through the estate of Taymouth Castle. So hopefully we're going to see some nice historic buildings, we're going to see lots of autumnal colours, and we will hopefully catch a castle at the end, which is my favourite thing to do on a walk, is to find a castle. Let's head out and see what we can find today. Scotland has a really amazing word for days like this, dreich. It's one of the more difficult Scottish words to pronounce if you're not from here, like me, but it perfectly sums up this misty, gloomy weather. The village of Kenmore dates back to the 16th century. It was originally known as Balloch and was located about 2 miles from the present site. In 1540, Sir Colin Campbell of Glenorchy started the construction of Balloch Castle, and he moved the entire village to this prominent headland by the shores of Loch Tay. This is reputedly Scotland's oldest hotel, with its origins going back to the early 1500s. The famous poet Robert Burns was so struck by the village's character that in 1787 he wrote a poem about it. He later graffitied the whole poem in pencil on the chimney breast of the fireplace in the Kenmore Hotel, where it can still be seen today. kirk here at Kenmore dates back to 1760, when the 3rd Earl of Breadalbane created the model village we see today. Model villages were built by many landed gentry in the 18th century to provide accommodation for their workers, but also to create an aesthetically pleasing settlement for their estate.
resist. Hey, I'm gonna... I don't think Jack likes the swing. Going in.
This is definitely not for someone who's claustrophobic. This monument, known as Maxwell's Temple, was built in 1831. It was built by the owner of the estate as a tribute to his wife Mary, on the site of an old summer house known as Maxwell's House. There used to be an inscription on the monument which read, "This building is dedicated to my faithful friend and fellow labourer, Mary, Countess of Breadalbane, whose maternal care has been long extended to all around this place."
I feel like Rapunzel in her tower. This is so cool. I didn't even know this structure was here, and then I didn't realise that there was a door in it and you could come inside. I love stuff like this. I've just realised I got to climb a tower. So if you watch my other videos, you'll know that I really wanted to go up the tower at St Andrews, which has amazing views, and I really wanted to go up the tower in Aberfeldy as well, and that was closed and we couldn't get the key. So I got up a tower. It was only a small one, but it was very fun to climb and it was unexpected, so I really enjoyed that. So I'm going to count that as a win and a tower that I have climbed and ticked off the list. Hopefully the next one will be a bit taller. Avenue of big trees. Must have been part of the old estate.
This is the aptly named Rock Lodge, another Gothic folly forming part of the Taymouth Castle Estate, dating back to the 1840s. It would originally have been habitable, but it was built to have the appearance of a much older ruin, so as to add to the romantic aesthetic of the estate.
You like exploring, Jack?
It was supposedly built as a home for Lord Breadalbane's Chinese concubine, and the nearby Chinese bridge was built so that the lord did not have to go through the village to get to his concubine's lodging.
And another strange, unexpected folly. That is the great thing about these old estates, especially if they were Victorian, because they're just full of random buildings that they decide to build because they thought they'd look cool. And they do.
Okay, so we're nearly back at the bridge now and back into the village of Kenmore. You used to be able to cross the bridge back there across the river and go to the castle that way, but it's been closed for a while for repairs, so we're gonna try and get round to the castle another way to show you that. I also want to try and show you the Crannog Centre as well, which is just out on the loch, which is a really cool building, but it's got a bit of a sad recent history, but I'll try and show you that as well before we head home. So let's keep going. A crannog is a type of prehistoric house, which would have been found across Scotland and Ireland around 2,500 years ago. They were built on artificial islands over water, usually with a bridge or causeway joining them to the shore. There used to be a reconstructed crannog built here on the loch, which was an amazing way to experience what life would have been like in Iron Age Scotland. However, there was a tragic fire here in June 2021. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but in just 6 minutes, the crannog was completely destroyed. You wouldn't like that bridge. You wouldn't like it. The rest of the historical village remains open, with tours and demonstrations of Iron Age skills and crafts. The Crannog Centre is also working towards rebuilding not just one, but 3 crannogs over the water of Loch Tay. The Crannog Centre had an amazing show of support from the local community as well as the Scottish Government to find funds to rebuild the crannog. You can still donate to this appeal by going to their website. A tequila sunrise mushroom. This is a scarlet waxcap mushroom, so named because their texture is similar to candle wax. These really are like fairy tale mushrooms. They don't seem to belong in our world. Even on a gloomy day like today, they seem to glow. Well, I think we're about done now with this walk. I was trying to show you Taymouth Castle. Taymouth, I still don't know. Willie thinks Taymouth. He's the Scottish one, so I should probably go with his recommendation. You might not have been able to see it, but it is pretty much covered in scaffolding. And it just started raining on us as well, so I won't be able to show you that castle any closer. But
at least that means it's actually getting done up, so it's not going to be one of those crumbling ruins that we have seen in so many of my videos, which I do love those. They are very romantic and very nice to explore, but if it's getting done up and it's going to be used for something, that's much better. I had a lovely walk today. It was really nice to get out and see all the leaves turning. Kenmore's so beautiful, and then getting out to see the Crannog Centre as well. So it just means I've got reasons to come back here. So I'll have to come back and see what happens to the castle, and I will have to come back and see the Crannog Centre when they're fully rebuilt. It sounds amazing what they're doing there. So yeah, definitely worth a visit and worth coming back for. Here we go again. Scottish weather has turned on us. The rain is coming down, so we're going to head back, and I will see you back in the studio to start painting something. See you there.
Don't tell her, folks.
Laying down the first pale wash of colour is one of my favourite parts of the painting. I can paint quite loosely, but I can already see how the painting will take shape, just by blocking out the different colours. Sketching out the gills like this is quite fiddly and time consuming, but it will make the process of painting these details much easier. Following the lines I sketched out, I add in a mid-tone of colour and blend it out towards the lighter part to give each gill depth. I will need a high contrast of dark to light to achieve a three-dimensional effect. few people have asked me how I use watercolour pens, and the truth is I use them like this most of the time now, mixing colours on a shiny coaster to achieve the shades that I need. However, I still like having the option to add pigment directly from the pen for an extra pop of colour in a painting. As I darken the red shades, I am also adding in a wash of yellowy orange to try and capture the peachy glow of these mushrooms. I will try and leave the edges of the gills as pale as possible, as they fade to almost white in the photo, and this will make them stand out from the page. I'm using the same technique across the other parts of the mushroom, a dark red for the shadowy parts and yellowy orange washed over the top. I decided against doing any kind of background, such as the contrasting green grass. I was worried about detracting from the mushrooms, and I like that I am focusing on a single colour palette in this piece. The glowing oranges and reds are the stars of the show when it comes to these mushrooms. Because of this, I made the shadows slightly deeper in the painting than in the photo, to really draw the eye into the piece and give it a finished look. All my paintings are available as prints on my Etsy store. Purchasing a print means that you're helping to support my channel and genuinely helps me keep doing what I love and sharing that with you. You can also support me by liking, commenting or subscribing, following me on Instagram, or by donating the cost of a coffee over on Ko-fi. Links to all my pages are in the video description below. There's someone behind me. In a golf cart. That's a new one. Interrupted by a golf caddy. I'll add that to my list of transport that has interrupted me. Today we've come to beautiful Perth, onto the estate of Taymouth Castle. So, Taymouth? Taymouth. Wait. Or not. Well, Jack has well and truly christened my new trousers. Thanks, puppy dog. No, Jack. No, no, no. No, no, not for doggies. I think you're going to regret this. Jack doesn't seem to realise that he's not good with small staircases. There's no room for him to turn round. So he gets halfway up and then realises it's not a good idea.
not agree.
Bye.